Didn't have a chance to even swallow my gum, people. But it's okay. Good morning. How are you doing? It's so good to be seen by you because I can't see you. But it's good to see both of you here. Hey, leo tumepata social distancing thing. Hey, kina timu wataki mambo na nini. We got the social distancing thing. Well, karibuni sana. Bobby, how you doing?
Well gone.
Uko sawa?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're on a very eventful weekend.
Yeah. You know, I made a couple of decisions.
Sending you happiness.
Thank you very much.
Niko amazing. Niko very happy. And yeah, I feel poor.
I feel fresh.
Fresh. Always. Fresh is amazing.
You're one of the very few people who naaminingi akiniambia hivyo. Unajua kama feel poor utasema sijakuwa sawa. Lakini nitakuwa poa.
Nisema tu kweli.
Si rhetoric, si ndio? Very good indeed. Shut up boy.
Wagwan.
Wana bad man.
Rhetoric ni nini?
Ni hivi nyo nini? Young man.
Mtu ongea kizungu yenye
You need to Oxford Dictionary.
Roho safi.
Rhetoric.
Yes.
Basically ni kitu yenye haifai, doesn't require an answer.
Oh,
like I ask you how are you but I don't want the answer. I'm just
look at friend matusi.
Ni kama government kusema can we fight corruption?
Started.
They don't
okay, you're the uppercut.
They don't want the answer.
You're the uppercut.
You are sibu.
Wako na 34 days. So I'm saying.
Yeah, no, so. Kwani iko chao.
Anyway,
it was amazing.
How was the Meru? Was it?
Yes, it was Meru. Yes. It was very eventful. Tulicheza na watu, you know, I took former Harambee Stars players to go play na vijana wa Meru. Kuambia tu waondoke crime na waone kuna hope. You know, in football ya Kenya sasa hivi iko in shambles.
Yes.
You see when they see people that have gone around the world, played in Europe and coming back to play with them, ili wa motivate sana.
Yeah, man.
But idea is peace and stay away from crime. Yeah, man.
That's good and that's the message. In a short while CJ will be joining us as well.
Congratulations as well.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Asante sana.
Mazu, congratulations. Okay, I got this. Ikifika saa 4 utakuwa umemfikia. So ikifika saa 4 tutakuwa sawa mimi na wewe Mazu. Okay? More fire.
Shatters will attempt as an apology.
By saa 4 ndo nafanya apology. By saa 4.
Anyway, we're going to have CJ join us in just a bit. He's been okay. Liverpool has been buying players, so I think he's doing well. But in the meantime, today, I want to talk about, we saw something, it was unfortunate, but it also brought something to the fore. People discussed a little bit of it, although that was not the main topic. The main topic, and we'll begin by saying we do not condone any form of gender-based violence, but we saw an episode where Eric Omondi had to jump in and go and save his ex from just that, domestic violence. And that then brings to the fore the fact that at least as exes, they had sort of a cordial relationship. And that's what we want to talk about today. Most people believe, and this was some of the conversation that was there, that an ex should be an ex. Like no communication, no relationship, no nothing. You switch it off. Turn the switch off and forget about it completely. We're going to be asking you the question and what you think about that in a short while. But CJ is here. CJ, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
You okay?
Yeah.
All is well.
All is well. Yeah.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Yes.
Happy birthday to your son.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congrats for the other matters.
Asante sana, asante sana. And you know if you're watching Rudi Nyumbani. Right about now, I'd just like to jump into that conversation that we had. Shatta.
Guy.
Tuanza na wewe.
Okay.
What is your view on that? Because should an ex just totally replace ex? Should people be somewhat friends with that? Because you can't just switch off the love. Si kama switch ya stima ati sasa sikupendi anymore. Boop. Let's move on.
No, unaweza switch off baba. Una switch off. Kama hata sio mpaka unamwagilia maji. Ikiwa kuzima moto ukaona izimiki bado makaa ile jiko umetoa nje mpaka unamwagilia maji. Switch off.
Yes.
Acha nikwambie kitu. An ex will remain an ex. Ndio inasemekanaga Mungu anakurudishaga ex wako sometimes angalia kama bado ni mjinga.
Yes.
Akuguse tu kama bado kuna ujinga ndani yako. Just interesting. Hakuna cha nikwambia kitu. You stay loyal to your future, not your past. And if you want to have a good future, you don't keep looking at your rear view mirror. Unajua, the moment this sex is staying in your life, bado you with your past.
But if I use your analogy,
unless there is watoi, kama hakuna watoi bro, sahau.
If I use your analogy,
are you Jesus?
Yeah.
Are you Jesus? That is the Messiah syndrome.
I am his representative on earth. Anyway, if I use the analogy of rear view mirror,
yes.
Mtu angalianga rear view when they're about to make a move. Lazima uangalie uone kama kuna mati inaingia kwa lane yangu, ama kuna nini, ama so that you can transition to the next lane.
Na ukisha transition kwa next lane,
si bado lazima uangalie uone kama uko sawa. Unaangalia hivyo uone kama okay.
Alafu unashindiaga hapo.
Hapana,
unashinda.
Wewe bado unaendesha gari gani? Review gani unaangalia hivi? Si unaangalia.
Si unashinda hivi sasa tukaangalia nyuma, unaangalia nyuma ni forget your past man. Stay loyal to your future.
But in looking at the past gave us salt biblically.
And you become that salt. So.
Anyway, what do you think, Roberta?
Okay, my opinion last week. I'm so glad to have shut up back. So that I'm not the bad guy anymore.
Yes.
So 2 weeks ago, my opinion would have been... Actually, I was talking about this with my therapist. And I have this tendency of like, okay, Nikosea, you stop existing to me. Like, right. I cut you off, it's over, we're done. I do not want to talk about it. I do accept apologies, but like... I'm very big on actions and I check for consistency and how people treat me and make me feel. So, you know, when I've been working on because when you're nice and you let people in, they tend to trample on your feelings a lot more, like respect in a dwindle and stuff like that. So I was trying to build myself to become this person who has strong boundaries and I know what I can tolerate. And so everything else that is I consider a low experience for myself, I just cut it off. If you have no loyalty, I just remove you from my life. If you have, until I started after the show where I was dressing, I can't remember what we were talking about. And then I talked to my therapist about it and he was like, yes, you need to be able to give people grace and understanding and forgiveness. And once you start to realize that forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you and you have to work from there, then it becomes easier for you to understand that si lazima keep grudges, si lazima mkwe mabeshte, and they don't have to be at an active spot in your life, but there's no need to hold grudges. So what I think is, I feel like if we had a friendship going on and if we were in each other's lives, then there was something that was good for it. If we can still maintain a friendship or even being acquaintances, that's okay. But story a grudge na anga kuna shida. Like in that situation, you see, maybe she didn't have anyone else she could call that would show up immediately or with the urgency that he would have. So in that situation, how do you start saying, oh, don't be friends with your ex, nini, nini? Like it has nothing to do with the relationship you had or whatever. If there's a friendship going on, if someone needs to come and save you, then they'll show up. So I think tusikwe wagumu sana.
Tulegeze
kidogo. Kukuwa na grace, but this has to be a situation that is very good for your mental health and your peace and whatever situation you're in. Isikwe kitu yenye ina infringe on your boundaries and the things that you want for yourself. Na pia your situation isikwe like back and forth. Narudiana mnachana mnarudiana mnachana like you need to start making decisions that are better for you and that are good for yourself. So while I'd say that it's very dangerous to be hanging around your ex, I think if you guys can maintain boundaries and can be good friends, then why not? I really don't see an issue with that.
How do you, CJ, maintain boundaries? Or first of all, what is your thought on it? And then how do you, in such a case, maintain some sort of boundaries?
Well, if I were to get on the case that you're dealing with, I'm not very private, but from what you have said, it's just human. Even without thinking about whether this is an ex or something, what if that was happening in your neighborhood and somebody was going through abuse? Would you let them be? See, this is what we keep on having around, that you'll be in the city, Roberta will be snatched a phone, people will be watching because we no longer care. we're just not human. People will just watch and say, oh, you know, this is Nairobi, you better be careful. Somebody will see you being mugged, and they really don't care. It's not like before where, you know, a few people would try and come in and defend and protect. There's a day I was going somewhere around Langata and just taking a turn like this, seeing two ladies fighting and men walking past it. They don't really care during the day, you know, and these ladies are fighting physically on the Langata Road, you know, the highway. I think we have to move from the place where we are aloof to what people are going through and begin to become humane. Now, when you have that as the foundation, then you will help somebody, whether they're your ex or they are not, because you're not trying to win points from them. You're just trying to be a human being who helped another one, and you're not even looking for anything. Again, as I said, same as we could do to a stranger. You know, if you meet somebody who is incapacitated in one way or the other, they're trying to cross the road, it's difficult for them to cross the road. Do you help them or not? Are you helping them because you're trying to connect with them, or are you helping them because you saw this as a human being who could not cross over to the other side? We have to get back to that place of, you know, just basics, that we are human beings. Before we bring up all these other interests, before you fall in love with somebody else, it's actually your human side that causes you to actually fall in love with the other person. So I think for me that is just foundational. If somebody's going through something, don't even think about what you'd get out of it. Just think about getting the person to be well. But now talking about the boundaries, you know, that depends on quite a number of factors, including how you broke up and why you broke up. If it was acrimonious, then it may need certain very strong boundaries actually to be put there. That is where probably then you would want to use not exactly the words that Shatta is using, but, but you would just want to keep it off, because you know that entertaining any engagement is going to cause toxicity, and maybe sometimes it gets violent and you hurt each other. So you just know, for the sake of peace, we shouldn't even be talking. You just know how it will end up. You are not even going to become friends or acquaintances. And it's not even that you're becoming enemies. It's just the place where you're protecting yourself and protecting the other person, that you don't want it to go worse than it is. So depends on how and why. Sometimes, you know, you're trying to draw the boundaries, then it will be reopened with manipulation, because this is somebody you've related with. They know you very well. They know what gets to you. Even in cases where they're children, somebody can actually manipulate you. They can be getting you in the night, saying the child is like this, the child is like that, you need to come and see the child. You come in, you realize it wasn't something really serious. They were just trying to get your attention as well. So knowing the person as well will help you to define the kind of boundaries that you would have. So it comes to, why did you break up? How did you break up? And who is this kind of a person? You know, if they're attention freaks, then even when you're trying to move on, they'll still want to have attention. And you should be able to pick up that and know they're just trying to get my attention. Sometimes they will be pulling the strings when they feel that you're moving on, you know, and they don't want you to be happy, because they're not happy with themselves either. So they're not happy that you're trying to be happy. In those kind of cases, you may ignore certain things, but you have to learn the person that you have been with. Then you have to ask yourself, why did I walk out? If I walked out to be at peace, why am I trying to keep walking back in here? Because I'm going to lose the very same thing that made me walk out. If I walked out because we are fighting a lot, then every time I remember that I don't want to fight, whether it is physically or emotionally, verbally, then I'll stay out. Not necessarily that I hate the person, but there's something that I do not want us to get into. So then I draw the boundaries.
Right. I want to ask you as well, who are watching, the question of the day: should you still remain friends or stay friends with your ex? Should one stay friends with their ex? SMS 224 to use the hashtag Daybreak, Citizen TV Kenya. Let's talk. Let's see. What do you think? Want to get some of your views on this, and then we'll be able to share them as the show progresses. Now, there are different scenarios, Shatta. For example, if you have common friends, right? Na mlikuwa muna hang out. Sasa, if you are 6 friends na yeye ako one of the 6, na muna hang out, tuseme maybe you're blessed to them anapenda football. na support probably the same team, and so you hang out. You have 38 weeks of watching games together, or even more. And baada yana insist hang out na mabeshte. Pia mabeshte wenyu, they're like, okay, so what are we gonna do? How do we now say, okay, like we are friends now, and I'm the ex. So how do we decide? Okay, Roberta and CJ are gonna hang out with me because now Shaz. Okay, I'll use Shaz because shout out to Mo. Shaz is my ex. And so now, what do we do? Like, let's say if Shaz was my ex, and we're used to hanging out every Thursday. We have like either a dinner, or we have a breakfast, or we watch football. We have common friends. What do we do?
Tulikuwa tunaweza kuambiana maukweli sasa.
Sasa
tunaweza kuambiana maukweli. Anyway, wacha nikwambie kitu. You break up with them.
How?
Yeah, acha nikwambie kitu. They will pick sides. Let no one cheat you that they will not pick sides. They will pick sides. Either they will pick your side or your ex's side. And whatever side they pick, be comfortable with that and be okay with it. Don't force people into your circle. Kama wamechoose kukua na yeye, unaondokea pamoja na yeye. Kama wamechoose kukua na wewe, sawa. Unaona? Hiyo kitu watu wataka kujifanya kwa katikati. You see, let me tell you, when you go to war, the most dangerous person is the one that pretends to remain neutral.
Yeah.
You see, because that one can hurt you. Afadhali ule amedeclare I'm an enemy.
There's a politician like that, but we won't mention it.
Sindio? Afadhali ule amedeclare. Afadhali ule asha declare enemy to you. No, this one is my enemy. I'll be careful around this person.
Right.
Than ule ako hapo ako lukewarm. You don't know which side they are in. Pick sides and stick to the lane you pick and be comfortable and happy that you chose that side. Unaelewa? Hiyo story unapataga mimi nakwambia zilonga tufanye biashara. Na hata kama tutafanya biashara tutagawana hiyo biashara. Unaona, I will either buy you out or you will buy me out. Hiyo kitu nangawa people trying to be civil, you cannot be civil with the heart. I am telling you. This person will keep using you. There's a reason you want to move from this person. Anything that ties you with this person needs to go. Whether it's the friends you have, unaona, whether it's not everyone that you grew up with is your friend today.
It's true.
Sindio? But you've made other friends a lot.
But sasa mulikuwa pamoja like you are a unit.
Kana kuambia kitu. As long as sio mtoi wako, unaachana. You met tukiwa watu wazima. Ai. Let me tell you, man, hiyo kitu utajifanya ngati yo, you know, we've done a lot together. This one, you know, you've taught me a lot. Forget, go teach someone else or go learn from another person if you can't teach. Yo ufala watu jieke hapa ati sasa mimi uni ex wangu lakini bado sisi ni mabeste. You cannot be friends. Hakuna siku Simba inakuwa rafiki na Antelope. Can't happen.
Inakuwa
it's even unfair to your new partner. Because itakuwa sana kucompare. You see, ukiwa na issue badala ya kuambia your partner unaenda kuambia ex because ex already akona listening ear. Anajuaga tu kienda kuongea kitu before umalize statement anaimalizia. Unaona? So they understand you better than this partner. It's unfair to your new partner. Forget them, block them. So hata friends, sahau wao. Kama wamemchagua kukaa pande yake, wakae na yeye. Break up.
Okay, they are friends and it even gets complicated. Even sometimes family, relatives, yes.
No, even family. Ati I have broken up with you and my brothers want to remain loyal with you. I will cut them off. Au ndugu zangu. Na wewe muzidi.
Sasa wewe ndio umetaka kutuambia hapa ati hatujazaliwa pamoja.
Ndio kama wameamua kukuchukua. See, they have picked that side. They have picked your side.
Yes.
It stay with them. It's that simple. Songa now.
No, Willis.
What do you think, CJ?
You know, Shatta sat on your seat for so long. So
He was waiting.
he's now in a therapy session. He's been waiting.
Well, I am back.
He's been waiting. He's been waiting to offload
All that he's been carrying.
Yeah.
But
In weeks, what?
you see, what happens past that relationship depends on maturity levels as well. There are people who are able to maintain those boundaries as well. You know, it's not everybody you are attracted to that you approach. There are people who will know they're still attracted to Willis, but then they know he's moved on. So they will just draw their boundaries there. To also act like, you know, once you are committed to one person like that, you may never, at one point or the other, notice, oh, today Roberta is dressed very well or something, is to lie. But then what do you do with that? You'll see her, but then you don't act on it. That's your maturity level. So even with your ex, You know, you may meet even in a school where you've got kids are in the same school. Are you going to move kids from that place if they're employed?
Call me Petty Willis. I will move.
I will do that thing now.
See, you
Anyway, yeah.
you can't keep running.
Right.
You cannot you can't keep running the whole of your life.
Right.
Because again, it depends on who have you related with, how many people have you related with. So you have an ex probably from college or maybe two. Then your first job, you have an ex. Will you run away from the city because this is the city of your exes? You know, somewhere along the line, you just need to get whole as well, emotionally. And as long as those people are not trying to interfere with your life, then it's okay.
Right.
I mean, allow them to also live life. The boundaries, when you put up walls around your house, you don't move with the walls everywhere you go. Those walls are around your house. The gate is around your house. It's just for somebody not to invade. This is not supposed to be a weapon of, attack. You didn't come with your gate here. You didn't come with your walls here. But when I come to your place, then your security is intact. I think even in the drawing of boundaries, it's only supposed to keep our space. We're not supposed to carry that everywhere we go, so pushing people out of where they are. I believe that it depends on maturity levels. Yeah.
How do you...
There's no maturity in love.
What do you mean?
You.
Maturity is what keeps people in love.
Mature people, let me tell you something. You've seen mature people behave like children when it comes to love.
Because now emotion,
you see,
gets the best of them.
That is it.
Listen.
Look, emotions
Shatter.
will
So let me tell
override
you.
maturity.
No.
Please,
see,
you cannot stay friends.
We need
with
to
an
change this to a bed so that CJ can come and
No. Listen.
take on. Yes, go ahead, CJ.
You see, and that is where now definitions are important. Because Shatter is imagining that if you are older, you're mature. Maturity is your level of development, including emotionally. So you can have a 16-year-old who is mature. That's why I say it depends on maturity levels, not age. So when he says we've seen mature people acting in a certain way, it's an assumption that just because the person was 40, they were mature. That's the assumption that he's making. But
Yeah.
somebody can be 22 and mature. Somebody can be 31 and mature. Somebody can be 50 and not mature. So that's why I said it depends on maturity levels, not age. You could be 60 and still act somehow, because you've not developed, you've not allowed yourself to grow in those areas. You have not brought yourself to the place where your mind will regulate what your heart feels. There's what you want, but then this is what I need to do. So it's not an age thing.
Right.
It's a maturity thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Also, you see, the end goal is to become better people. So you ultimately have to make the decision for yourself. Like, you can't keep saying, oh, nani alinifanyia, so mi nitaendelea kukua hivi, ama I went through this, so this is what. You have to deliberately make the action and the decision to be a better person.
Right.
So be honest with yourself. How does being around this person make you feel?
Right.
Do you feel like it's safe? Do you feel like there's someone you can still talk to or have in your life? Are you still hurt? Are you still in pain? Do you miss them? Do you wish? Just be honest with yourself. Like, usi act ju move on ati, so now you don't care, ama sijui. Just be honest with yourself. How do you really feel about the situation? When you're able to be honest with yourself, navigating becomes easier because now you're finding solutions to your problems instead of ignoring that there are any problems in the first place. If you're able to answer these questions and you say, okay, Mimi, I miss my ex, I feel like I should talk to him. So maybe right now being in each other's lives is not the best thing. Maybe we need time and space to go heal. Or I'm still angry at what he did. I'm still feeling very jealous. I'm still bitter. I've not moved on. Nini. Just be honest with yourself so that if you're feeling these feelings, you're able to tell yourself, so if he calls me, am I still able to go out for that cup of coffee? Or if he has an issue, can he depend on me and tell me, yo, I need a quick 200 bob? Is that something that's possible? Or it's, no, if we talk about that 200 bob, it'll lead to something else, I'm not ready. When you're honest with yourself and you know what you're feeling and you acknowledge your feelings and you're able to understand that at the end of the day, we're just trying to be better people and you want to be a better person, it becomes easier. But I've realized that if you stay stuck in that mentality for wase walikukosea na it's whatever, deuces, I don't care where they are, I don't care if it's still okay, because boundaries look very different for everyone. And that used to be me. Actually, that is still me. I'm still trying to unlearn that. I'm learning that it's okay to communicate how I feel. It's okay to be honest with myself about how I feel. And it has nothing to do with anyone else. Whether I decide to keep the grudge, this other person life yake inaendelea na kwa sawa. Isi wanasemanga si Nollywood movie ati atateseka juu simuongeleshi ama ati
by force by fire
cut off ati life yake itakuwa mbaya. No, people's lives progress and people keep going. So you have to make the decision for yourself is, do you want to move on? Do you want to be better? Or do you want to stay angry? Cutting them off is still okay as long as you know why you're doing it and your reasons are coming off from a space of, I want to be better and I want to do better as a person.
Right. Interesting dynamic. What if they're now, you want to cut them off, you want to do all of that, but now there are children involved. So one way or another, you might have to interact, whether you're talking about how the kid is doing at school, problems with the kid, how you want the kid to brace, because the kid can't have a set of rules in this house. Alafu akienda weekend kuona mama yake ama baba yake, there is a different set of rules. So it is yes to I almost mentioned yes to Cocomelon here, and this side it is Akili and the kids or whatever it is, different raising styles, different values. This side, daddy says we should not smoke. Daddy says it's okay. Mommy says it's okay to smoke. So how do you do that when there are now kids in there?
First of all, for tundapo kwa watu hii, tunaongelea an immediate ex.
Yes. Yes, let's start with that scenario.
Kunaweza kuwa ex mulikuwa naye shule, then ukadate watu wengine, then meet 10 years later.
Hiyo ni sawa.
Huyo mnaweza kuongea. It's no problem.
Well,
tunaongelea huyu immediate. Huyu immediate mumeachana last month. Ama two
hold on,
ago.
let me tell you something. Biblically, I don't know if CJ, was it Jacob who was digging the wells of the forefathers? Akadig moja akupata maji, akadig ingine akupata maji, alafu finally, akadig ingine akapata
more fire.
Na akasema, I think it was called Rehoboth or something. The Lord has made room for me. Unaweza kuwa umiti 10 years uongee upate kumbe bado maji na flow kwa hii well. So I don't think 10 years.
No, mimi naongelea. Na sisa mkwe mabeste. Unaget. But huyo mnaweza ongea. Mimi naongelea huyu immediate ex.
Right.
Trust me, people
watu wananipigia simu. Tafadhali tuko hewani.
Waambie waache.
Yes.
People will want to keep you around them for selfish interests.
Right.
Because they know they get something from you. Unaona kama kuna kitu anapata from you, hata ku cut off. Unaelewa? So usikubali kutumika. Wewe jiambie leo ni aje mimi tumeachana, sawa, hiyo story imeisha. And cut that person off and tafuta maisha yako mengine. First of all, get comfortable na company yako peke yako. You as an individual, you need to be okay with your own company before you want to share that company with someone else. Unaget? That way utakuokia hata kucut off your ex na feel complete. Unaget? The moment unapata gota kurudi kwa kuongea na ex because you feel incomplete. You feel they complete you. Unaget? But you don't need anyone to complete you. First you need to assure yourself that you are complete as an individual and be able to enjoy your own company. That way itakuwa easy for you kusema, you know what, that is toxicity, I ain't getting that. Sawa sawa. Talking about children. Kama watu yako involved, sasa it's no longer a boy girl thing. No, this is a parenting thing, and you have to make sacrifices. You have to be uncomfortable with situations. You will have to meet this person. Lazima mtadiscuss shule, school fees italipwaje, watu watakulaje, watavaaje. Lazima kuna common ground lazima muwekeane. But watu yote wakikam kwako huku wafanyangi ina. Unaona? But sio sheria wewe umemake peke yako. You have to come up with the rules and regulations together. Ndio ikuwe balance. Sio ati umeniletea mtoi na bag, umenifikishia mtoi kwa mlango, akulagi, atokagi, analaga hii masaa. Umenipatia instructions, so mimi nimekuwa babysitter. I'm no longer the parent of this child. Unaona? Sina say we have to come together to agree. Mtoi huku analaga saa 2. Ukiweza lala hiyo masaa. Mtoi anakulaga hivi na hivi na hivi. Anafanyaga homework hii masaa. Unaona? So tumeagree. Ndio unapata hata yeye maisha yake inakaa ni seamless. You make life easy for him ama for her. Akikujaga anajua home tunaishi hivi. Yaani asifiligi nimeenda kwa daddy, niko na freedom. Unaona nimeenda kwa mami, huku nitakula ice cream. kwa dadi napatia ugali pekee, you know. Una balance tu, mnakuwa na ka understanding you wawili. Unaona? Lakini pia ka understanding lazima katoke from a point of people having healed. Juu kuna watu kwa bado na machungu, so wanakupunish na huyo mtoi anakuletea mtoi amepoison mtoi against you. Unaona? So unapata mtoi ni wako lakini you're playing catch up and you are ni kufungua unafungua kama mtoi amefungwa. Ameambiwa dadini mbaya. So ukikaa na mtoi uko careful, you don't know what to say juu mtoi tayari antennas ziko juu hivi. Aliambiwa mtu mbaya about you. It's unfair. Huyo baba anafaa heal, huyo mama anafaa heal for the sake of that child.
For the sake of children. So CJ, I guess also in that aspect it also goes back to maturity levels, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets there because we have to understand that maybe the two of us disagreed, but not the child. The child has a right to both parents. And even the coming together of those parents was based on certain shared values. You don't just marry somebody from nowhere. Even if it is, you know, a come we stay, there's a reason why the two of you come together. There's certain values you shared, certain goals. You may get disappointed along the line, but initially you had common goals, common hopes, common aspirations. So you can still pick up on those things that you shared as the values and instill those even on the children. Mostly when two people are raising a child, there's how they view, you know, even the conversations before that, unless it is what people would call accidental, but mostly when they want to raise children, they're talking about the babies they would want to have. There are certain common things they talk about, how they want to raise a child, what kind of environment, what kind of child they want to have, where they would want to take the child to school, who they want that child to become. Sometimes they will talk a lot about their own backgrounds and things they do not want to pass on. When it comes to the place of co-parenting, you have to remember the shared values so that you are not doing what Shata is saying, using the child to settle scores. So if the child is with the mom, for example, and the mom is a disciplinarian, then they come to you, so you break all the rules just to make this child feel this side is better than the other side. See, sometimes you don't even have to verbalize anything. Sometimes it's just the things that you do so that this child sees there are two worlds. And you see, when they're younger, they will think that the one who is more liberal is a better parent. So sometimes people do that to compensate. Just because you're never with this kid every day, so you will avoid anything to do with discipline, you'll avoid anything to do with school, you'll avoid anything to do with certain regimentation that they need to have. You want to be this cool parent because you only have them for 2 days.
Right.
And not realizing what this does, it becomes a disruption. So it is important that no matter how much, you know, we feel we are against each other at that particular point, we have to remember that the child, just like a business, is a separate entity from the owners. The child has a life that is totally different. Somewhere along the line, they will make the decisions and their choices in life. So you need to try as much as possible, you know, to raise them based on the common values. What is good for the child? Not what is good for me, not what is good for the other person. What is it that is good for the child? So if going to school is good for the child, let's do that. If they need to go for extra classes, let's do that. If keeping this child away from candy is good for them, because some kids, you know, the more they take sugars, the more they fall ill. If this is good for them, then I will not try to make my house be the candy house because on the other side they've been put on, you know, healthy eating. If I don't want this child to be going to the dentist every time, then I will not come over here and say, now every time you come to daddy, you know, here you can have anything. No, we look at what is good for the child, not what is good for me, not how I will get more points with the child. I'm not trying to score points, I'm trying to raise a kid.
Right. And so what about another scenario if you work with your ex? If you, let's say you are journalists, or you are doctors, or you are nurses, or you just work in the same place. Not even mambo, let's say you had I'll buy you out. If you had the same business.
Or you buy me out.
Unasema, aya, to agree, mimi natoka kwa hii biashara, which is again a place people find themselves anyway. But what if you work in the same place and you have to see each other? What still if if you are a journalist na sasa yeye no cameraman, Na wewe sasa kama sasa tuseme hapa Timo angekuwa na Timo ni ex wako, so lazima akuje akuframe, make sure uko sawa, akumic, kila kitu iko sawa, make sure uko hapo on time or ana work sound na sasa akona power ya kukuzimia mic. Like how does that work if you work with your ex?
Stone bana.
Unaongea
na wadosi bana, unawaambia ikifika shift yangu naomba munipatie shift ya hii masaa. It is workable.
Na kai uwezekani asema hapana, we are approaching an election.
This was Roberta's question. Wacha kwanza ajibu.
Okay,
I will be back. Itaongea vitu mingi.
Okay, Roberta.
I think it comes back to being very honest with yourself. Okay. Because what Shatta was about to say is easily an option. If you can request, like even me, I've been in jobs where I've had to interact with people that I've dated before and maybe we didn't end things in a good way. And at first I was very anxious, you know, okay, what do I do? I have to show up. But you can just communicate. Just communicate with whoever is in charge of setting things up and let them know this is the situation. Right. You don't have to get into details, but that's very an option. It's something you can do. But you see, the thing you have to do is just be honest with yourself. Would you lize mimi nikitokea kwa studio na Timo ndo anafaa kuni mic? How's that gonna make me feel? Am I okay with that, or do I need a break? Because you have to heal. And the only way for you to be able to show up and be okay is when you understand that it's okay for you to feel all these human feelings. Anger, all those things are very, very natural, but you have to get better and to heal from all that. So it'll only take for when I'm healed enough to be able to show up and be okay. Right. Is when I can be okay with things. But if you're not, just be honest with yourself. If you're able to take a break, if you're able to be elsewhere, if you're able to not show up, it's okay. And also, if you're still able to and have very strong boundaries, as long as you're not, you know, spreading the hate and the anger, si ati sasa nitoke na niko hapa na snia, nimeboeka na spread the room with negative energy. It's just easier for me to be able to say, Sazile Timo ana work, mi sitaki kukua. Na kama haiwezi, then maybe that's a prompt for me to be able to start healing so that it can stop bothering me. But you have to be honest with yourself. Usi act ni kama haumi, ama ni kama how feel, ama ni kama haujali, because feelings have a way of catching up with you. And the more you ignore them, the more they just build somewhere. And then one day they'll just erupt and you're wondering, why did I overreact like this? It's because you don't deal with things when they come. So what I do with myself is, because this has actually happened to me, is I do a lot of introspection. I actually ask myself, am I okay? Is it okay for me to show up? Am I still very hurt, or am I able to be in the same situation? Kama haiwezi, I'll very easily ask for a break and I'll take time off, because I know I need to heal, and I'm not one to like spreading like anger, or because energy is very contagious. If I entered the room today na siongee, nyi wote mngekuwa mmenotice. Hey, there's something weird. Na kungekuwa na ka tension ka weird na nini. But you see, when you learn to communicate even with yourself, it's easier for you to communicate even with the people around you. You're just, it makes you feel free and you're able to feel okay. So to that question, it just boils down to you being honest with yourself. Whatever it is that you're feeling in that time, please acknowledge your emotions and find solutions to the emotions that you should not be dwelling in. But everything else that you can work on to improve yourself as a better person, please do. But usiforce, kama uwezi kuwa around your ex, usiforce, ni sawa, pia hiyo ni valid.
Hapana kuforce.
I want to say something to that as well. Some situations get a bit complicated because sometimes they're very binding and costly contracts as well. It may be an event, for example. You know, the setup you brought in may be something that is controllable, like you're working in the same organization. But what if it is an event and the event organizers contracted you differently, as Will is the hype man? Then they've contracted your ex to offer a very different service. You don't have the luxury to tell them switch this thing. I think that is where now professionalism comes in. And I think this is why people will hire you as well, that you are able to separate certain things, your emotions and whatever you need to deal with, and the work that needs to be done. Because if we can't do that, we may lose a lot more. And not just even with exes, it may be with colleagues. It will be workmates that we don't agree with. And so we will be saying, you know, I can't work with Shatter. And sometimes...
That sounds like something that can be said.
Yes.
Oh, glad.
And sometimes for the good of what needs to be done, I need to be there and Shatter needs to be there. So eventually we still have to learn how to manage our emotions. And that's what I was talking about, maturity levels, that I can walk into a place and work with a producer that I may not like, but I know that we've going to be on set and do the work. When we get out, I can get back into my personal feelings. We don't have to hang out, but we have done the work, you know. So if this person is trying now to cross the line after, that's a whole different issue. There's also the element of, you know, what is it that would make me uncomfortable with them? Are they doing their job? If they're just doing their job and they're not trying to pull strings because of their own personal feelings, then why should I say they shouldn't be here? Just because I feel I'll either be compromised or I feel I'm upset. If they're not showing anything towards me that is unprofessional, I shouldn't also sacrifice them just because, you know, of how I feel. So it gets back to the place of how mature are we in handling matters? How professional are we? Even when you are married, Willis, sometimes you turn up in places and it's not that you had the best of times, but then you are showing up somewhere and you don't have to show everybody that the two of you are not cool, because you'll go back and handle your matters. Even with families and siblings, it's something you may be at a place and all of you have to show up. Maybe there's a sick relative and all of you show up and you're all focused on taking care of the sick person at that particular point. They don't have to know that when you were coming, you were fighting over speed or parking lot or something, all of that. You finish that, then when you get back to a conversation. Say, I didn't like how you talked to me at that particular point, which brings the element of communication. That if we are more communicative, probably then we will deal with things as they come up, where you get to tell somebody, listen, we have to do the work over here. And I don't like it that you're now trying to take advantage of the work we need to do and trying to get back to have the two of us together. We're just here for work. And if you try to do this a bit more, I'm sorry, it will not work. I'll have to raise this issue somewhere. I think we need to learn the communication aspect as well. So that's part of the boundary thing, that you don't just disappear on people. Communicate it and say, listen, yes, we are working, but that does not permit you to start chatting me up at 1 a.m.
Right.
or something.
So I need us to go through this thing.
Kwa communication.
Tuingie kwa hii.
Hapo kwa communication watu wanafaa wajue kuna sababu wako na mdomo mmoja na masikio mbili. You do the more of the listening. Kuna pataga hiyo communication inapeningi kwa relationship ambapo wewe kazi yako ni kusikiliza na kunod kichwa. Huyu mwingine yake ni kuroroa. Aongea una nod tu. Aongea una nod tu. Mpaka uone sasa unajiambia if I say one statement itajibiwa 10 minutes. So
Nyamaza.
Peace. Unanyamaza, unaona? So hiyo sio communication. Unaget, kuna watu wanafaa pia wajue the more they talk, also they need to listen more. Unaelewa? Hapa unajua uko majuu wanasemaga kama unaona utajiincriminate, you plead the fifth. Si ndio? I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
Sasa hapa Kenya pia kama uko job na mtu wako, plead mental health. Just go to the HR and tell them I am healing from this person. Please. Sisemi mnivute kazi ama mumvute kazi. Nasema kama mnaweza ku separate shift zetu for a moment. They will listen. Ni binadamu. Una get. Let me tell you, people keep getting excuses why they cannot do things. Unaona? Na huyo ex, unajua wewe unaweza kuwa mature enough vile mnasema and you want to move. Na yeye maturity na yeye ni maji na mafuta. Hawezi kukaribiana. So yeye ni akuzunguka kwa mtaa na kuharibia jina. Akuja hapa anataka kukuonesha vile yeye bado ndio otero, lakini wewe uko una get. So it's bound to affect you. Juu actions zake pia you have no control over the actions. You can only react to those actions. Una get. So kuna njia ya kufanya kila kitu. Me I tell people what you do, ask yourself a positive question. How can I do it? How can I heal from this person? I was jiambia I can't, because when you say I can't, that's it. Umeji condemn. but if you ask yourself, how can I do it? You open yourself to possibilities and learning. Unaget? So sio ati juu sasa tuko kazi ndio rent na nihitaji, sitaacha kazi juu ya mtu, lakini sasa pia imaanishi hapawezi come up na formula yenye mimi na mtu tutaondokeana. Sawa?
Spanner in the works is if huyo HR unaenda kuongelesha ndio
huyo mumunda huyo your boss has a boss, man. Hiyo kitu niliambiwaga na FA.
Your boss
has a boss. You go to the boss.
Okay. Wagwan. Wacha ni wachapo. Let's take a look at some feedback and see what you all are saying. Nganga sijui kwa nisongeshea hii 4. Sioni sana. Asante sana. This is Ask Collins Bed says asante. If an ex comes back, it's not because they miss you, and this applies to both genders. Men just want to see if he still owns you. Women come because the grass isn't greener out there, so she needs a safety net. Both will stick around for a while. So here we have Uni Amba. Hii kitu ni I hope transmission election results hazitakuwa hivi. Ambale Alex says, Willis Raburu, my friends, kama mumeachana. Leave anything attached to him or her, let them remain ex. Final. Barnabas Smwell says, Willis, you don't go back to your ex. We ain't good at mathematics, but we are good in replacing the ex. Anasema find ex, ndio huyu nimempata. Gidraf anasema hivi, kutembea na ex wako ni same na kutembewa na miwa. Unaweza ikula na pia unaweza kuitumia kama walking stick.
It's the same analogy of kuweka kuku kama pet. Uko na kuku ni pet.
Yes. Sinawaambia unaweza chimba upate bado maji iko. Alafu pale Rashid atakwambia basi maji imezidunga. Things have become thicker than you expected. But that's an interesting thing, because the other thing is, if what do you do then? Because like you said, you might be the mature one. Mwingine si mature. Mwingine ataongea, you might want to do the healing. Mwingine hachiki. I don't know, I think one thing that people are afraid of is engaging the police and the justice system, because you can get things like protection orders, you can get a lot of things. There's access to some things. The only challenge is, and again, I don't hear this said a lot, hata kwa hizi manifesto, is that access to justice is a little bit expensive. Apart from those who you said can do pro bono, they're required to by some certain so, but what do you do kama ex hachiki? Unajua anasema ukiachwa achika, but he or she doesn't want to leave. They're stalking you, they're calling you with different numbers, they're showing up at your workplace, they're intent on ruining anything and everything. What do you do?
You know, the only thing you can control is your own reactions and the stuff within yourself. You can't control anything that's external. So you can't really control them, but you can control your space. So what I think what I'd advise is that while you're taking care of yourself, make sure the relevant people around you are aware so that they're able to help in protecting you as well. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need to tell your boss, if you need to tell your mom, if you need to tell your best friend, so that, because waseka hao utapata, they're not good at dealing with their emotions. So wanaweza ruka wire here and there, and you can't really gauge like how far they'd go to harm you or hurt your feelings or make you feel bad or things like that. So you have to be to take care of yourself and to make sure that you're well taken care of. So what I'd say is just inform the people that are around you so that in case there's anything, you're also protected from the anxiety. Because I can imagine, say, you're in that situation where you work with someone and say if there's a work event and you know this person is going to be there, they're going to show up. They might want to cause drama. They might want... So in the event that whatever happens, everyone else is informed and wanajua rada na wanajua how to handle the situation in case maybe you're unable to. If they need to remove you from the situation, or if they need to protect you from the things that maybe mtu amepost online ama nini, just a safety net that's around you that's able to help you deal with whatever you're dealing with. Don't deal with it alone and be like, ni sawa na nini. Because sometimes, like I said, you can't control anything else that's external. You can't say, usiingie kwa studio leo Timo, sitaki kukuona. There's nothing I can do about that. But if Timo wants to come and start crying and
anakumaika akisema lakini mbona uliniacha
But you see, now if I had communicated earlier and said, you know, when Timo hangs around me, he gets emotional, we're dealing with a heartbreak, we're trying to heal, it affects me when I see him like that. Is there a way we can do something, you know? Or maybe if you guys are my friends and you knew of the situation, you'd be like, you know, help him, or you'd find a way. So please talk to the people around you and understand that you cannot control anything else. You can only control your own emotions and your own reactions. So just do better for yourself and don't worry too much about anything else that is out of your control. Just work on yourself. Everything else, communicate and be open to asking for help and receiving help.
Right. Suppose in younger from experience.
Go ahead, brother.
Please, take it away.
Acha niwaambie kitu. Kama wewe umeamua kumove na wewe you're mature na wewe ex wako amekataa kuwa mature. Sasa you have to tell yourself now you're dealing with a terrorist. I keep saying this. You're dealing with a suicide bomber right there. Unaona? And there's nothing you can do. You see, a suicide bomber does not need any reason to explode with you. Unaona? So wewe, do not go trying to diffuse your bomb yake. You see? Insulate yourself, brace yourself for impact, and let them detonate. Sawa? Because if you keep fearing this bomb,
this is not how you handle the actual
bomb.
Yeah, this is just an
you run away from that. If you just say bomb, you run away.
We don't want things to get lost in translation.
Yes, but still hata bomb ya ukweli kama uweze kuifanyia kitu, you protect yourself from it. Na uache ilipuke. Sawa, wewe sio expert. You protect yourself from it. This way. Uyo ex, the moment ata realize unaogopa akidetonate na wewe, that is a weapon against you. Anaishindiaga daily. Wacha ipiganishe ngori. Kama ni kukuja kwa ofisi yako anataka kuja, wacha akuje, ajue amekam na life ikaendelea. Sawa? Next time atakam. Atakuja kwa achieve what result. But ukianza kuogopa, huyu atakam ofisi yetu, amejuaga that is what I will be using against you. Every time kidogo utaka kumove na nitakuja kwa ofisi yenu. Una panic. Unanyenyekea, hau move. Sasa yeye amepata kitu ya kuku. Let them detonate bwana. But again, in future endeavors, kama umekujipata kwa hiyo situation kama saa hii, pole. But itakuwa sawa. Lakini mimi naambiaga watu, do not entangle yourself with someone that has not made anything out of themselves. Because huo ni mtu akiamua kujilipua, hajali. They have nothing to lose. But wewe you have everything to lose. Try. Najua mapenzi ichaguangi, lakini pia hakikisha huyu mtu mwingine ana move maisha yake pia yeye, so that mkiachana they have something else other than you, you know. It's unapata gani wewe pekee ndo maisha yake, so anashangaa my life is leaving me, so they entangle themselves around you, they do everything around you because wewe una feel relationship inaisha, but yeye ana feel ni livelihood yake inaisha. Unaona?
All right, CJ, I guess final comments because it's
I think I was going to say the same thing in a different way. Every storm runs out of rain at some point. So no matter the initial stormy nature of separation, somewhere along the line, it will ward off. So you can't live in constant fear of that. You may have a bit of issues here and there at the beginning, but that cannot be sustained unless somebody is a psycho, really. That can't be sustained for so long. After a while, they'll get distracted by something, or you will actually get immune to it. Or the people around you then will also begin to see this person is either malicious or they need help. So somehow, do not be afraid to make decisions to keep going towards your future. Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what, very interesting health. I don't know if Timo, since when tumekutaja sana, tuko na feedback anymore ama tuginene. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's yeah. So that's very good. Thank you very much. So we have some more time. Roberta, you can also give your thoughts on this issue as we wrap up.
You know, in relationships, I think it's also important to acknowledge that you don't get into a relationship with a crazy person, but as you go along the line, you know, people can switch up. Anything can happen. And different situations in life, like, bring out different versions of people along the way. And it's okay if you guys get to a point where compromise is no longer valid and you guys are not seeing eye to eye on decisions. But I'd say that when you're getting into a relationship with people, try to build a friendship. Try to work on your friendship. Like, when you guys are friends, like ile tu kweli yenye mnajua hata mkikosana tunaweza communicate. If I need space, I can let you know. Or if this is how I feel, I can let you know without it becoming an argument or without it looking like I'm asking for too much and I shouldn't really express my emotions as I should in the relationship or in the situation. Build such friendships so that hata mkikosana ama relationship ikikosa ku work out, the communication, the foundation of communication is a bit strong and you people are able to stand on that. Like, even if you don't like each other, even if you don't want to see each other, you know each other enough to know that if I just drop him a simple text, he'll know that the kids need this, the kids need to be picked up, and this needs to happen. If I just call her and let her know how my schedule is, maybe I can do this with the children or whatever situation. And even in the event that you guys break up and there's nothing tying you to each other, even if it's a job or what, you guys are just able to be grown up and mature about it and say, you know, this hasn't worked out. I don't think a friendship is gonna work out. I need space for a year or 2 years, or I need to heal, or I need to... Communication becomes so easy when you guys are hell-bent on building a foundational friendship. So that's what I'd advise. When you're dating people, when you're getting to know people, please work on the friendship. Najua kuna vitu nyingi zingine watu utaka, sijui kuonekana, kupost, kunini. Ni sawa hizo vitu zote, but make sure when no one is watching and it's just the two of you, you guys are actual friends and you care about each other and you love each other. So that in case you break up, you know how to be graceful, you know how to be kind, and you know how to be patient even through your healing and your pain. So while I'd say cutting people off is valid, I think please have valid reasons as well for removing people from your life. And it's okay to forgive, it's okay to move past, because healing is for yourself.
All right.
For the other person.
All right.
Ujue kitu kingine pia. Niseme. Kwa hii dunia, acha niwaambie, it is watu wa believing nikiwaambia. Sana my brothers, DJ Rev, I'm sure hapendi hiyo statement akimwambia, but in this life no one owes you anything. Totally. If you tell yourself that, utakuwa disappointed na mtu. Unaget, wewe, no one owes you friendship. Kuanzia hapo, no one owes you loyalty. You see, it is in expecting things from people that you get disappointed. Unaona, you think, but this was my ex for 10 years. Why can't she be kind to me? You know, so unaanza kujiuliza maswali yaziko, jiambiage mtu anaweza switch up leo and it is okay. Unaona, waku owe anything. The moment umeanza kujiambia they owe me this and this and that, you're setting up yourself for disappointments and failure. But if you employ that system, if they are loyal to you, if they are happy, if they do good things to you, it's fine, you will feel good. But you have it at the back of your mind that they owe you nothing. Yeah, man.
I'd take up that statement if I was the HR of RMS. I would take up that statement. I'd take up that statement. I would just send email and say, Shatta, no one owes you anything.
But they would have disappointed
working here for free.
No, it matters relationship.
No, let me say,
not working. A person, they owe you money. They give you your money.
I'm just trying to show you.
To be in your life, for people to be in your life in whatever way, they owe you at least
something.
Basic human
Yes.
Yeah.
They
basic
don't.
Human
No, hapo sasa unajiset up for failure.
No, hapana Shatta.
You set up for disappointment. I am telling you,
Mimi niko na DJ Rev. Wezi kuwa unasema okay.
They owe you nothing.
You should live with the reality that yes, things, situations might switch up and stuff like that, but Not that you're.
Una
It's like you're just.
deserve
Yeah, you deserve.
Why would you be
good
disappointed?
things.
Why would anyone disappoint you?
Why would they disappoint me? Because
you expected
it is
things from them.
Even human decency.
No, you expected them to. Oh, it is relative to them. You know, human decency is relative.
They're basic human.
I think the
According
challenge
to
is
who?
things.
According to
challenge-
where is it written?
In the Bible.
Where is it written?
Thou shalt not kill.
Okay, so
Honor thy
follow
father and
Bible.
mother.
Willis,
Eh.
the only challenge is to over-expect. The truth is, every relationship you get into, you're expecting something.
Yeah.
That's just the basic truth. So whether I tell myself in my mind that I don't expect anything, I wouldn't have connected to somebody if I didn't expect something. Yeah. So Shatta is just trying to.
Unaitaka lakini vile wanakupatia hiyo mapenzi.
Wanaweza
It's
kupea-
totally up to them. Wanaweza kupendulia ngori hivi unashaka. What is this?
That statement is only true in politics. Anyway, wacha tuachie hapo. Tuachie hapo. We hope that you picked up something, and if you're going through, you know, sometimes it is crazy, but statistically there could actually be somebody who's watching who broke up with somebody yesterday. Ama leo asubuhi
Sasa hivi una text
ameamka kwa long text hapo na read more. Unajua zile za lazima ufanye read more alafu na reply okay. Hizo ndio.
Oh my God.
Hapo. No, but you don't reply okay. Roberta said we communicate. Yeah. So what we're going to do is if you missed any part of the show, you can watch it again on YouTube. But again, like we always like to say here, it's up to you to treat people with, you know, some sort of human decency, and every case is different. There's no blanket rule for how to treat your ex, but just judge it according to your space and your peace, and I believe you're going to be okay. Peace and love. Make sure you follow CJ Atem on all his platforms, Roberta Bobby, all her platforms, including loveandorgasms.com and the blog Shatta Boy, Shatta Tiki Taka on Twitter, Shatta Tiki Taka, Shatta_boy on Instagram, and on Wax Tiki Taka na AnQT pale. Na point hivi because studio iko hapa. Hapa hivi Radio Citizen. Asanteni sana. Pia mimi munifuate Willis Raburu and on all the platforms. Na see you tuonane. Successful people look like you, and God loves you, and that will never change. Peace and love.